Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Robbie Basel Show. You know who I am. I'm Robbie Basel, and today we have another video coming for you guys. It's another part in this series where I'm breaking down. We have the Champions League video, we have the Premier League video, and more to come eventually as well. And today I am going to be breaking down the next couple of international soccer windows because there's a lot, and I want to go over all of it or the majority of what's going on so you guys can get caught up and maybe learn some things as well from me because listen, it took me a while to understand all this stuff as well. So I want to make sure you guys are informed, have some of the best knowledge so you can go out and tell your friends and be like, yeah, I'm smarter than you at this type of stuff, courtesy of not only just me but the internet as well. By the way, this is another video. This is actually the first. I'm recording this before the Champions League video. Comment what you guys think of the dorm. Just why not? I mean, this is actually, I've had to record this video multiple times due to the background noise. So you probably will hear background noise every time this video, like a video is recorded in here. I can't do anything. I just can't do anything about it. But, at the end of the day, here we are, video time. And we're going to start in Asia. So, what's going on in Asia? They're starting World Cup qualifying in October. And yes, October, not even a year after the previous World Cup, they're starting it back up again for World Cup 2026 with the United States, Mexico, and Canada. And the first round of, I can't say this with a straight face, the first round of Asian World Cup qualification features some of the worst teams in the world. This is the first round. Mongolia, Afghanistan, Maldives, Bangladesh, Singapore and Guam, Yemen, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Macau, Cambodia, Pakistan, Chinese Taipei, Timor-Leste, Indonesia, Brunei, Hong Kong, Bhutan, and Nepal and Laos. If you don't recognize most of those countries, and if you could tell me where most of these places are on a map, like you will know some of them. I will give you that. You will know some of them. Like, I don't know. If you tell me like where the Maldives is, you'll get a prize, maybe. I don't know. But some of these teams are very interesting. And the best team out of all of them, I think, is Indonesia. Because I feel bad for them even being here because they should not be here. Hong Kong also as well. You might think Hong Kong is really bad. They're not that terrible. They did make, I believe, made the Asian Cup, which is in January. So they're not a bad team either. But some of the better teams, you have to go with probably Myanmar. Yemen's going to beat Sri Lanka. This shouldn't be a conversation. Interesting one with the Maldives and Bangladesh. Now, granted, Bangladesh actually looked competent in it was Asian Cup qualifying, I guess. So they've done like some things. Mongolia, Afghanistan, I can't even predict. But you have to imagine Indonesia, Hong Kong, Timor-Leste, Chinese Taipei. I don't even know who to pick for that one. Cambodia, Pakistan's actually a rematch from Asian Cup first round qualifying, so that'll be fun to watch if you want to go out and watch that. And Singapore as well. They're not a bad team either. So, I mean, if you win those, it's a two-leg tie, home and away in October. And then the winners of those all go into a giant group stage, which I'll break down in November because these matches I don't believe start until November. So you guys will get all that full breakdown, all that stuff, eventually when that video in November, I'm going to make it a video in November most likely, does come out. So make sure you guys don't forget to like and subscribe so you make sure you do, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss that upload because that video is also going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we even get a guest for it. Who knows? But Asia is pumping right now. And so is Africa. So Africa, where we're at in Africa is that we are still in AFCON qualifying. So AFCON, which I think is the most underrated international tournament in the world for national teams. I think, could it be better than the old Copa America formats? I don't know. But what we do know are some of the teams that are in this thing. Let's take a look. Group A, Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, and Sao Tome and Principe is done. We know it's Nigeria and Guinea-Bissau. It's just a matter of who finishes first in the group. I like Nigeria. Guinea-Bissau had 1 point in the previous edition of this tournament, so I'm interested to see if they continue go out, if they try and give a better performance depending on their draw. Last time they had a very tough draw. They had Egypt and someone else that was really good, so you can't really go after them. Group B, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Togo, and Eswatini. That group's also done. Shout out to the Cape Verde and Burkina Faso, who are both very good teams. You got to give them a lot of credit. When they start Africa World Cup qualifying in a couple of months, I believe it's in a couple of months, those two teams I think you can really back to possibly make a run at the World Cup in 2026. Group C, Namibia, Cameroon, and Burundi. This group is open because Cameroon plays Burundi in a match that Cameroon, you imagine, wins. But if Cameroon does not win this match or get a point, Cameroon will miss AFCON. It's possible. It's not going to happen, but it's very possible. I think Cameroon wins their match by multiple goals. They've really, really disappointed because what's happened in this group is that, well, one, Kenya got disqualified. Namibia drew Burundi, then Cameroon beat Burundi, then Cameroon drew Namibia, and then Namibia just beat Cameroon. And then Burundi beat Namibia. So this group doesn't make any sense. And now we get to the situation we're at where Cameroon plays Burundi in Garoua, and yeah, I'm picking Cameroon to win 3-0. If you go and play in Cameroon, it's a very difficult spot to play in, and yeah, this match should not be that insane, but at the end of the day, listen, anything can happen. A lot of things are possible. So, I mean, at the same time, you have to imagine that you can back some of these smaller countries to make it out, like Guinea-Bissau or a country like that to go out and do things. Group D, Egypt, Guinea, Malawi, and Ethiopia. Terrible break from Malawi. They made the next round of knockouts of the previous edition of AFCON. They went out and took it to a couple of the bigger sides. They got a ton of points. I believe they were on 4 or 7 points. I don't really remember. But they got drawn with Egypt and Guinea, two teams that could back themselves to win the tournament. So Malawi is also eliminated. And then we head to Group E. And I love Group E because we have my boys from the Central African Republic. So the Central African Republic are in a group with Ghana and Angola. And Ghana plays the Central African Republic. The Central African Republic did not help themselves. Though, know who did help them? Madagascar. Madagascar drew Ghana, which just made this really weird because Angola beat the Central African Republic 2-1 with an 86-minute winner from Milson with the 86th minute winner. So this is just getting really weird. Angola hosts Madagascar in a match that you have to imagine Angola wins. And Ghana plays the Central African Republic. So tough break for the Central African Republic, a team that has gone out and gotten points against teams like Nigeria in World Cup qualifying. So they won in Lagos against Nigeria. Yes, you heard that right. The Central African Republic did find ways to beat a team like Nigeria. Tough break for them, though. I mean, if you don't get points against Angola at home, you deserve to not make it, though, at the end of the day. And then we head to Group F, which is even weirder because this was Algeria and Tanzania's to lose. And, well, Tanzania just made this really hard for themselves. Tanzania drew Niger, a country that I believe is on the brink of war. And then they lose to Algeria, then beat Uganda, and then lose to Uganda, courtesy of a 91st minute winner from Mato. Then they beat Niger and now have to play Algeria away. They have to play the Desert Foxes, a team that has won every single match in the group, and a match that you have to imagine Algeria wins. Now, to make this really weird, Uganda basically needs a goal or two, and they really need two, and Algeria to win by at least one, and then there you go. Uganda will make AFCON, and not Tanzania. Now, granted, Tanzania really shot themselves in the foot, but so did Uganda. Real tough breaks against a country like Niger. They drew Tanzania. They drew Niger, and then lost to Tanzania, then beat Tanzania. Then they lose to Algeria, only 2-1 though. now have to play Niger again in a match that they don't even know where it's going to be according to the website I'm currently using. So I think you guys, when you see the visuals, you know what this website is. But really weird situation. I mean, if this match even gets played, you have to imagine Uganda wins it, and if it doesn't, then I don't know what happens next. I don't know. But this group weird as hell, and the next group is one of my favorite teams because we get the boys from the Gambia. Now, the Gambia, for those who don't know, it's like right around Senegal. It's essentially the banks of a river. It's a really weird backstory. If you like history, I recommend searching up how the Gambia started. It's a very fun story. And they got a horrible draw. They got Mali and the Congo, two teams that Mali's definitely making it. They're already qualified. But the Congo are sneaky good as well. And what's also weird is that no one has drawn a match yet. The Gambia went out, and there's also South Sudan's in this group. They're already eliminated. Gambia beat South Sudan, and then lost to the Congo, and then lost to Mali, and then beat Mali 1-0, and now have beat South Sudan on a 96th minute winner from Barry to set up a winner-take-all match against the Congo on September 10th in Morocco. So it's a neutral site match. So it's a weird one. I really like this Gambian team. Congo concedes a lot. They've conceded the second most goals in the group, only one less than South Sudan. And not only that, they've scored the least amount of goals. You can't go far in a tournament like this, in qualifying especially, but only scoring 3 goals in 5 matches. I have the Gambia winning this their upcoming match as well. I think they win it 1-0. It'll be a good-looking matchup from both sides, but the Gambia are just the better team. And I'm telling you guys, the Gambia are a sleeper team to do stuff. I mean, they went out and got 7 points. They had Mali, I believe, in the Africa Cup of Nations, the previous attempt as well. So watch out for the Gambia. But another team that's been really hot recently is Zambia. As we look into Group H, and we have Zambia, who are on top of Group H, ahead of Ivory Coast, who are really on a decline. Remember those Didier Drogba days where they're making the World Cup easily? Not anymore. They actually, I believe, are barely in pot 1 for Africa World Cup qualifying now. So Ivory Coast really on the downside, on the downward slide. And they're in second in their group. They've also already qualified ahead of Comoros, which is a bad break for Comoros. They went out and just beat Ghana in the previous Africa Cup of Nations to make the round of 16. So really unfortunate they're not there, going to be attending this tournament again. But then we head to Group I, and a group where it's the only group remaining where everyone can make it and not make it. Let me explain. We have the DR Congo, Mauritania, Gabon, and Sudan. Now, Gabon are led by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and that's really the only player you will know from this team. Mauritania has some decent players, but the team I really didn't expect to repeat again was the DR Congo. And the DR Congo, the reason I say that is they went out and lost to Gabon, then lost to Sudan, then beat Mauritania, and then beat Mauritania again after they're awarded a 3-0 win, then just beat Gabon away, and now plays Sudan in a match that you have to back the DR Congo to win on September 9th. And, well, if they even get a point, then DR Congo will be safe and will advance in the tournament, setting up essentially a winner-take-all between Mauritania and Gabon. Now, Gabon, of course, is led by Aubameyang. Mauritania has a lot of players that you don't know who they are, myself included. So, who do I back? I think all of these teams are going to draw, and it'll be Mauritania and DR Congo going through. That's my prediction, but anything can happen. The leading goal scorers are Abubakar Kamara of Mauritania. That's the one player I know, and Cedric Bakabmu. So, I mean, it's 2 goals a match. I expect both of them to be either a 1-0, 1-1, or a 0-0. Group J, Equatorial Guinea and Tunisia just found a way to draw each other again. And Equatorial, because if they don't know, they drew each other in World Cup qualifying, and Equatorial Guinea almost eliminated Tunisia, a team that made the World Cup. Just a fun note. And Equatorial Guinea has grabbed 12 points from 5 matches and are leading their group. already qualified, along with Tunisia. Botswana and Libya are eliminated. And then we head to Group K. South Africa and Morocco, two teams you'd back to get into the tournament, got in over Liberia. Zimbabwe got disqualified due to like corruption or something. And then we head to our last group, which is a winner-take-all match for Mozambique and Benin. Now, Benin also almost made the final round of World Cup qualifying. They were in a group with Tanzania, Madagascar, and the DR Congo. And Benin, really tough finish for them. They went out and drew DR Congo. Then they beat Tanzania. Then they lost to Tanzania, but they beat Madagascar twice. And then lost to DR Congo on the last day. So they did not make the final round of World Cup qualifying for Africa. And Benin has won one match and has a chance to make it. Kind of like when Ukraine almost made the World Cup and won two matches. And how many did they play? 10, 14? I don't know. But essentially, I know it's 8 actually. But what I'm trying to get at is Benin doesn't want to lose. They drew Senegal in June to give themselves a chance because Mozambique beat Rwanda and setting up a match in Mozambique between Mozambique and Benin to see who goes through. I really want Benin to go through, but I think this is going to be a draw as well. Leading goal scorer was Sadio Mane from Senegal. He's going to be the leading goal scorer at the end. Underrated player was Geni Katamo. I hope I'm saying that right. Babouli Dia for Senegal is also having a good group stage. And there's just a lot of one-goal scorers from Benin. Anything could happen in that match. That's just the way Africa is. And that's why I love Africa Cup of Nations, Africa World Cup qualifying. Just African matches in general are just different because it's so predictable. It's also very tough to play on the road, just like in Europe. But we'll talk more about European stuff later because next we head to the CONCACAF Nations League. And the CONCACAF Nations League is really, really interesting. How it works this edition, because whoever like goes to the quarterfinals of the Group A, League A, and the Nations League will have a chance to qualify for the Copa America. So, who wants to try and stun the United States and then probably lose to like Brazil 7-0? I don't know. But here's how it works. So you play, it's these two 6-team groups in League A. That's all we're talking about today is League A. That's our big focus. And you have to finish in the top 2 to advance to the quarterfinals, which are in November. I believe it's in November. And then, let me just make sure. I believe you go out, you play a couple of matches. You play 4 matches. You don't play everyone, but you play 4 of the 5 teams left once. It's really weird. But Group A, Curacao, El Salvador, Guatemala, Martinique, Panama, and Trinidad. Now, Panama and El Salvador and Guatemala, I think are your 3 teams that would be in the running for those top 2 spots. Sleepers, you got to go Curacao. I mean, they've been on a little bit downward slide as well, but Junior Bacuna is a pretty solid player who plays in I believe the EFL Championship now. But I mean, Trinidad had a rough showing at the Gold Cup. Martinique, rough showing at the Gold Cup. They did get a couple of points. I believe they did beat El Salvador, but El Salvador away is not easy. When you look at a team like El Salvador, they're a pretty decent team. Their FIFA ranking really low though for them, 75th in the world. They open it up with Guatemala and then Trinidad, then Martinique, and then Martinique again. So I guess you only play 3 out of the 5 teams. I don't know. This format's really weird. It doesn't get more confusing than this. I'm not kidding to you. But I bet El Salvador, they avoided Panama, I believe. And you gotta avoid Panama. You play Trinidad and Martinique twice. Revenge. I think it's revenge time for El Salvador. I think they're gonna get out of this. I think it's gonna be the 2 top dogs. But watch out though for Guatemala. Guatemala had a very good showing in the Gold Cup. Very rough schedule for them though, and that's why I'm not backing them to get out of this group. Panama does get Guatemala twice, which is really unfortunate for Panama, because Panama, if we can now look at them, are also I believe don't have like the weird. Yeah, they have a decent schedule as well. They do get Curacao, so possibly a prove yourself match for Curacao. But they get Martinique, Guatemala, Curacao, and then Guatemala again. So it's Guatemala. Let me repeat that again: Martinique, Guatemala, Curacao, and then Guatemala again. So it's a very interesting schedule. But I do back Panama, even though they're on a slide as well. A lot of these teams are on a downward slide from their golden generations. Costa Rica could be another one, but they're already in the quarterfinals based on world ranking. So I believe Panama and El Salvador with Guatemala in third. Very tough break, though, for Guatemala. They're a very young, solid team. Who do I imagine getting relegated from this group? I'm going to go with Martinique and Trinidad. Curacao will find a way to stay up. That's my prediction. Group B, a group where no one knows what's going to happen. Oh, in the bottom, of course. Cuba, Grenada, Haiti, Honduras, Jamaica, and Suriname. So this is Jamaica's to lose. Jamaica, of course, has players like Michael Antonio, Leon Bailey, Kumar Roof, I believe, is on this team as well. So they have a very solid team. Honduras, another good team as well. Haiti had an okay showing in the Gold Cup. It's really it's a 3-3. It's like those first three teams I mentioned, Haiti, Honduras, and Jamaica, are in total another echelon compared to where you would see a Suriname, a Grenada, and Cuba. I do like this Suriname team. They're not bad. Grenada and Cuba. Cuba had an awful showing at the Gold Cup, a team I was kind of high on to make the quarterfinals. They went out and got 0 points in the group. Cuba, they can maybe do things. If we look at Cuba's schedule, they get Honduras, Haiti, Suriname, and then Honduras again. That's a very unfortunate schedule for in the September-October windows. When you look at compared to Suriname, they get Grenada twice. Suriname, I think, survives. They will get out of it. Grenada and Cuba, I think, go down. But when you look at Jamaica's schedule, they get Honduras, Haiti, Grenada, and Haiti again. That's your prove yourself schedule. Compared to Haiti, who get the schedule of, they get Cuba, Jamaica, Suriname, and then Jamaica. Yeah, I'm going to go with Jamaica, and I'm going to go with Honduras to get out, not Haiti. Haiti finishes third due to the rough schedule that they have. Though a lot can happen, and I'm expecting a lot to happen. This whole insanity starts September 7th with both Nations League A, B, and C in action. Shout out to the boy, this matchup, St. Kitts and Guadeloupe, both teams who were in the Gold Cup. They're in both in Nations League B Group 1. A really tough draw for St. Kitts and Guadeloupe. Guadeloupe, by the way, is really good. I like that Guadeloupe team a lot. They should have been in the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup at least. Also, shout out to Montserrat, the smallest national, I believe the smallest national team in CONCACAF in terms of population. And then, of course, Bermuda is a Nations League B. So a lot of chaos in CONCACAF. But when you want to go from CONCACAF to absolute the depths of hell, CONMEBOL in South America is just a different animal, and that's where we go next. So, for those that don't know, the 10 countries in South America: Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Paraguay, Peru, Uruguay, Venezuela, and Ecuador all play each other in a giant group stage, 18 matches. It's the depths of hell. I love it. It's chaos. It's a lot of fun. What's also a lot of fun is that Ecuador starts with negative points. I've never seen that before. They're deducted 3 points for falsifying a birth certificate. So have fun with that, Ecuador. But teams to watch out for in this, because matches, I believe, it begins very soon, September 7th. Teams to watch out for. You gotta back Brazil. You gotta back Argentina. But a team that I think will be coming back a little bit is Colombia. I'm very high on Colombia. The Colombian national team, they have some decent players. They've always had talent, but the reason they didn't make the previous World Cup is that they couldn't stop drawing matches. I mean, when you go out in the freaking World Cup qualifying in the last couple of matches, you just go out. Let's look at this stretch. You draw Uruguay, you draw Brazil, you draw Ecuador, then you lose to Brazil, and then you lose to Paraguay. Like, that stretch ruined their entire run at possibly making a World Cup. That was forever ago, it feels like now. So, Colombia is not a bad team. I think they're going to make a big run at this. Another team that I like, of course, you can't mention Ecuador, but Uruguay as well. I think will be a very decent team. I'm interested to see the transition from the one generation to the next. Of course, Suarez and Cavani are probably gone. I'm interested to see how that transition works. Another team that would be really interesting, I mean, Bolivia. I mean, you can't go without this without mentioning Bolivia, because Bolivia gave a good run at it in the previous World Cup qualifying. They went out and beat a team like Uruguay 3-0. Could they maybe make a run? You can't go out this without mentioning Peru, who made it to the Intercontinental Playoff and lost to Australia. You can't go without without mentioning Chile, a team I think will probably be your Intercontinental Playoff team. But early predictions, I'm going to go Brazil, Argentina. In third, really interesting spot, but I'm going to go with Ecuador. They're going to win a lot of matches. They have a young team, transitioning team as well. But I think Ecuador is going to find a way to finish in third. In fourth, early on, I think it's going to be Colombia. I think it'll be Uruguay, and then the last team that makes it. Ooh, it's a tough choice. A lot of good choices, but I'm actually going to go this team not going to the Intercontinental Playoff. I'm going with Peru, and I'm going to go with Bolivia. I'm really high on Bolivia, and Chile, Venezuela, and Paraguay will miss. It's 3 years away, though. That's my early prediction. I'm really, really high on Bolivia. You can question my insanity. We go from that chaos to the Euros, our conclusion of today. All the groups have matches, and we're going to talk about all of the possible outcomes for what I think is going to happen and what can happen on the way to Euro 2024 Germany. So, Group A, Scotland, Georgia, Norway, along with Spain and Cyprus. Cyprus has taken themselves out of the equation. They've lost all their first 3 matches. Spain have only played 2 matches, and they've won 1 and lost 1. Then we have Norway, who really rough start for the Norwegians. I mean, you go out and let's find out how they started. You lose to Spain, then draw Georgia, and lose to Scotland, and then you beat Cyprus 3-1. They opened their next window with opening with a friendly, and then they play Georgia again. So, I mean, you cannot underestimate this Georgian national team led by Kavisha Kvaratskhelia, from a player from the Italian league in Serie A, one of the best wonder kids from Serie A. So I think Georgia's in a very decent position. Norway's in trouble. Erling Haaland, Martin Odegaard, got to figure it out with not many matches to go for the Norwegians. But Spain, they're going to need to figure it out too, because their whole FA is in turmoil. Will they get in? I mean, they should. I think Spain, Scotland make it out. Georgia will finish in third, and it's really tough for me to say. I really like Georgia, and Norway will miss another major tournament led by Haaland and Odegaard. Just the way it is. Group B, France, Greece, Ireland, Netherlands, Gibraltar. Gibraltar, I mean, 4 matches with a negative 12 goal difference. Just speaks for itself, but a good start, though, for France. They've won their first 4 matches. Really interesting start from the Netherlands. They've only played 2 matches. But when you go out and you lose to France 4-0, the red flags start to arise. And then they beat Gibraltar. They open with Greece and Ireland. I think Ireland's going to give them a good run for their money. Ireland's a young team. I think they have a lot to prove. Greece, same deal. Remember, they won the Euros, and I believe almost over a decade ago now. So they're transitioning in phases still, but I think the Greeks are going to give Netherlands a possible problem. Remember, the Netherlands still have some very solid players. Memphis Depay, Virgil van Dijk, De Ligt. There's a bunch of other players I didn't even mention from that are Frankie de Jong, of course, that are really solid, that will help the Dutch get through. France, Netherlands, this is an automatic for them. Just like a snap of your fingers, they both will probably make it through. Ireland, I think, will give them problems, though. Same with Greece. Not a pushover for the Netherlands. Group C, terrible draw for Ukraine, as they got England and Italy, along with North Macedonia and Malta. Really disappointing from North Macedonia. Remember, who beat Italy and almost made the World Cup. North Macedonia has decided to show up and lose. I mean, they beat Malta, they lost to Ukraine 3-2, and then just lost to England 7-0. Really taking themselves out of the picture. They get Italy and Malta, and then eventually with Ukraine and Italy and all those other matches. And they do finish with England, so I don't think North Macedonia is going to make this. But Ukraine is going to give Italy problems. And listen, with the squad they have some very solid players. I mean, Yarenchuk is always giving people problems. He's on bruise. Yarmolenko always giving people problems. In defense, of course, you can't go out this without mentioning Oleg Zinchenko on Arsenal. They have some players that you're going to know. But what's also hilarious is Ukraine has started off by only losing to England away 2-0. They beat North Macedonia and then they beat Malta on my birthday. Now they open up with England again and then Italy. So if you want to prove yourself as a legitimate national team foe, you go out and beat England. I think they get at least 1 point from this window. Listen, I think they get two. I think it's going to be double draw. You go out and beat North Macedonia and Malta in October. And possibly in November, you see North Macedonia make a run. Not North Macedonia, excuse me, Ukraine make a run for the Euros. I think they can possibly get it done. So, Italy, really interesting team. They're still transitioning out from their old golden generation to a new one. I think the Italians are going to struggle. I think if you really want to pick a team to really shock the world, it's going to be the Ukrainian national team. Group D, Turkey, Armenia, Croatia, Wales, and Latvia. Wales disappointing after losing Gareth Bale. They've really done absolutely nothing. When your only win is against freaking Latvia, they did draw Croatia, which fair play, but when you go out and lose to Armenia, then lose to Turkey, I'm like, come on, guys. What are we doing? So they open up with a friendly, and then they play Latvia, and then they play Croatia, Armenia, and then Turkey again. I'm not backing Wales to make it out of this. Who I am thinking that could possibly make a run at this is Armenia, who showed up out of absolutely nowhere with players you probably have never heard of, and just gone out and have gone off to a storming start. They beat Wales, they beat Latvia, they open it up with Turkey, and then Croatia, Latvia, Wales, and then Croatia again. Armenia could possibly make some noise. Croatia, of course, they still have that old generation with Luka Modric and everybody else. Turkey, of course, I think the Turks are going to get out of this group, probably with Croatia, but Armenia is not going to go throughout this without putting up a great fight. Group E is the group I'm calling group of the alarm bells for Poland. They're with Czechia, Albania, Moldova, and the Faroe Islands. The Faroe Islands have rather predictably been bad, but listen, the Faroe Islands got a point. That's all they needed to do. They drew Moldova, and then Moldova, on another hand, has responded eventually. Let's look at what Moldova did. They opened it up with drawing the Faroe Islands, which is just concerning in its own right. You follow that up by just drawing Czechia. Okay. They then lost to Albania, which set up a lot of red alarms. Then they just go out and beat Poland 3-2. A match that, if you look at the XG for it, it was a weird match. Poland deserved to win. Moldova had 0.5 XG. Poland deserved to win this. And guess what? In typical Polish fashion, they went out and lost. So they did what they needed to do, Moldova. Poland, on the other hand, has rather predictably choked this. They've totally choked this. You have in a window where you go out, you lose to Czechia, rather predictably on the road. Then you beat Albania, soaring on the highs. You beat Germany in a friendly, and then you lose to Moldova. It's just hilarious. They open up with the Faroe Islands, and then they play against Albania again. In a window where you think 4 points will be automatically needed at minimum for Poland. Czechia are a solid team as well. I think it's going to be Czechia and Albania, the two teams that currently are at the top. Poland gets stunned and will miss the Euros, ending the tenure with Lewandowski. It's going to be very unfortunate for Lewa, but I think Czechia and Albania do this. Albania is going to keep hold and not choke, and I think Albania gets it done, along with Czechia. Group F, Austria, Belgium, Sweden, Estonia, and Azerbaijan. Estonia and Azerbaijan, rather predictably, have been bad. But no one else has been really... But on the flip side, Austria have decided to come out and play. They got out, you beat Azerbaijan, you beat Estonia, then you draw Belgium, which is away, which is a great result, and then you just beat Sweden 2-0. They open up this up with playing Sweden again. Then, of course, you get Belgium, Azerbaijan, Estonia, and then you get a friendly at the end of November. So, Austria, what they need to do is get points from Sweden and Belgium again. Then they just have to run Azerbaijan and Estonia off the field. And I think Austria will do this. It's going to come down to Belgium and Sweden. You got to like Belgium. Granted, they are under Roberto Martinez, so anything's possible, but sorry, Roberto Martinez is not the manager of Belgium. He's the manager of the Portuguese national team now. My mistake. Sweden, they have some very solid players led by Alexander Isak, but very tough draw for Sweden. I feel really bad, but I think Austria and Belgium do get this done. Austria probably is. Maybe can they be turning a bright side led by Christian Baumgartner? I don't know. Group G was Serbia's to lose, and they're tied for first, along with Hungary. And you have Montenegro, Bulgaria, and Lithuania. Montenegro's not going to let this go, but Serbia and Hungary are eventually going to run away with this. This is the first group that I think is going to be is a given. Hungary and Serbia, two teams that you backed themselves to even get into a World Cup. Serbia made the World Cup and got a tough draw with featuring Brazil, Cameroon, and Switzerland. Hungary got a terrible draw in the last Euros, but are a very solid team and barely missed out on the European playoff. Montenegro had a decent showing previous World Cup qualifying. Bulgaria and Lithuania, they haven't really showed up on the field. So this is the first no-brainer. I have Hungary and Serbia. And then you get to these guys, a group that will. This is when you get start to get to the groups with the extra not good team. Finland, Kazakhstan, Denmark, Slovenia, Northern Ireland, and San Marino. Now, you would expect Finland and Denmark to get out of this, but then you remember from my previous video of the rise of the Kazakhstan national team. Kazakhstan has really gone out and didn't do it, and they started off slow. They lost to Slovenia, if you remember, back in March. Then they went on and beat Denmark in a match where they came from behind. Then they beat San Marino. Then they beat Northern Ireland and Belfast and open it up with a match that could possibly determine the entire group. I'm not kidding. They open with Finland, a match that will be one of my matches to watch for. It's on September 7th. They open with Finland, then they get Northern Ireland, then Denmark, Finland again. The fact that they have still to play Finland twice it's gonna be down to them and Finland, to Kazakhstan and Finland, to who makes it out of this group. I think Denmark are really gonna come back, but Kazakhstan, man, who would have thought? I believe they're gonna be in the playoff automatically due to their Nations League standing. So Kazakhstan will be a team to watch out for, along with Finland and Denmark. Slovenia, though, I think they're going to be in the mix as well, but they're eventually going to fall away. Northern Ireland, very tough draw for Northern Ireland. They're a team that I think can possibly make the Euros as well, and then you have San Marino. Need I say more? Group I features the boys from Switzerland, who are going to probably make this easily, along with Israel, Romania, Belarus, Kosovo, and Andorra. Romania and Israel are going to battle to the end of this, but you got to back one of them. Who do I back? I don't know. I kind of like this Israeli national team. Low-key like the Israelis, but Romania they have an okay, their league is getting better. Israel's league is getting better as well, led by Maccabi Tel Aviv and a couple of these other better Israeli clubs. The only team I really remember from the Romanian league is Cluj. It's like a team ran by railway workers, I think. But Israel, I think, will make it out of this, along with Switzerland. Group J, our last group of the video, is Portugal, Slovakia, Luxembourg, Bosnia, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. Now, while you wish for me to talk about the Liechtenstein national team, and you see me smile because it's hilarious to say, it is. Here's my challenge. Challenge of the day. Go out and first off, try to find Liechtenstein on a map, and then try to say it 3 times, including once in a sentence to your friend, and explain why this is funny. The challenge. But of course, in all seriousness, Rafa Leao and the Portuguese have rather predictably gone up, won their first 4 matches with a plus 14 goal difference. And they've done this very easily. They beat Liechtenstein 4-0, then beat Luxembourg 6-0. They beat Bosnia. They struggled against Iceland. In a match where, I'm just going to click on this match because why not? Portugal had under 1 XG in this match. Oddly enough, they had less than 1. I mean, Iceland are not that bit good anymore. But are they turning a corner as well? I don't know. They did beat Liechtenstein 7-0, but lost to Slovakia, lost to Portugal, and of course have lost to Bosnia. They opened with Luxembourg again. Actually, no, they opened with Luxembourg, then Bosnia, then Luxembourg again, then Liechtenstein, then Slovakia, and Portugal. Really tough end when having to play Portugal, but I do think Iceland will cause some problems. Luxembourg, however, has really made this interesting because Luxembourg has gone out, of course, lost to Portugal, but they drew Slovakia. Then lost in a friendly to Malta, which raises a lot of red flags. And then they just gone out and followed out by beating Liechtenstein, and then they beat Bosnia. They open with Iceland and Portugal in September. October, you go out and you get Luxembourg twice, and then actually no, they are Luxembourg. Then they follow up with Slovakia and Iceland, and then they can follow up with Bosnia and Liechtenstein. Luxembourg will make this interesting because if Luxembourg finds out if they can go out and you beat Liechtenstein, you beat Bosnia again, you get points from Iceland and Slovakia along with Iceland in the beginning. I think they win in the match away at home and then draw the match away. Luxembourg can possibly make this. I'm dead serious. Luxembourg has a chance. Slovakia, I don't know. I mean, what Slovakia has done is that you open this up by drawing Luxembourg, which okay, and then they beat Bosnia, they beat Iceland, and then they beat only 1-0 against Liechtenstein. I think Luxembourg will make this interesting. I don't know who makes it out. Comment below who makes it out, Slovakia or Luxembourg. I'm very interested to see what you guys think. Along with, if you want to post in the comments your predictions or a sleeper team to watch out for in Euros qualifying or any other qualifyings. Because I've been able to talk about Asia, Africa, South America, North America, and Europe. It's a lot to talk about, a lot to digest, and of course this video will be edited so you guys should be able to see all of the graphics in this corner, that corner, or maybe even where my face is. I don't know. But for now, that will be the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see in this video, go down, hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel. Like I mentioned earlier, turn on post notifications, and of course, follow the Robbie Basel Show on Instagram at the Robbie Basel Show, as well as Into the Stands. Into the Stands content coming soon within the next couple of weeks. More announcements to come hopefully next week, but the week after this video comes out. I don't know. I don't really know when this video comes out. So for now, I'm Robbie Basel saying thank you so much for watching once again, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everyone.